Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt, and welcome back to Farlands or Bust. We are here in our deluxe, open and aired and ventilated hidey hole here with a door. We've got a door to start out episode. To start out episode. Lucky Charms. No, to start out episode 559 of the series. I don't know why I keep defaulting to an Irish accent there, but that's a shame. Yeah. Why did I build it like that? Oh, because it was raining again, and I felt like having a door. And some poles! And a creeper! Ah, you creepers aren't completely silent now, are you? You got little footsteps, and you also just fall into some water, but that's fine. Yeah, episode 559. Already? That seems wrong. Did I write that down wrong? Sure, it's 559. On today, Saturday, February 13th, 2016, let us continue west through dangerous lands here. There was a creeper over here as well, was there not? Or was there? I think there was. Fuzzy Wuzzy was. Oh, yeah, there was. Oh, God, creeper! Wolfie, what are you doing to me? Preventing me from escaping the creeper. And there's a creeper right there. Perhaps, Mr. Creeper Friend, you should join your other creeper friend downstairs, as your third creeper friend probably is going to sneak up behind me. I say, I doth declare we go a little bit to the right here. Say north a bit. Go around the mountain, perhaps. Not as exciting of a journey, but a little bit safer. So yeah, we're going this way. Episode 559, February 13th. Up to 22,000, excuse me, $22,242.22. There was one person who did get it up to 222222, but that was quickly spoilt by some additional donations, so thank you to the person who was so inclined to do such a thing, and then to the people who were so inclined to ruin it. You ruined it! But all that money going directly to Child's Play Charity. ChildsPlayCharity.org is where you can learn specifically about them. Yeah, we're trying to raise $60,000, so we're actually up to 37% of the way to our $60,000 goal over at farlandsorbust.com. Please keep going there to donate, to ask questions, to have fun with the order of the numbers and the palindromes and the other things. But yeah, good times indeed. But hey, more importantly, hey, listen to me. More importantly, you're helping get toys, books, games to kids in hospitals around the world. Around the world indeed. I have a correction to make. I was misvocabularized in the last episode. I was talking about how the scientific discovery of gravity waves was made famous the other day. No, there's no such thing as gravity waves. Well, actually, there is such thing as gravity waves, but that's not what we were talking about. Gravitational waves are the things that were confirmed via science and space knowledge this week. Not gravity waves, gravitational waves. So I'm glad everybody is up to speed and now fully understands exactly what I was talking about. Because I really don't. Oh, man. But, yeah, wanted to make that little correction. And I think just today, we're just going to be answering questions, I think. I mean, I'm still finagling with this new system. Still finagling indeed. There are going to be quite a few videos coming up, say, in the next week, perhaps. And then, you know, you'll notice when things were recorded on the same day. My audio is just getting all weird and funky. I was having some weird pops and clicks and weird clipping stuff that I never had before. That is just weird, both on my microphone end and then also the system end, which is why is that happening? So I do apologize for that. I spent all morning trying to fix it for a particular series that's coming up, a long-running series, and really tried to do my best, but it's still an annoyance, and I hope you'll listen through. I mean, they're co-op stuff, so you could watch somebody else's perspective if it's getting too annoying to you. But yeah, I noticed that on Tomb Raider as well. Something was happening on Tomb Raider, so I'm still finagling, still testing things out. I realized that on the old system I was recording not the system sounds through the speaker setting, but system sounds through the stereo mix setting. So I've since adjusted to that, and that gives me a little bit more control over the volume of the game and, say, Skype relative to my own without adjusting what I hear in my ear holes. But it's not how I like it, or not how I'm used to it, I guess, is the way to go. And we'll just have to deal with it, and we'll fine tune. We've found out that, yeah, Farlands Bus probably better to keep it in 30 frames a second, so we'll keep that this way, and we'll keep on going west as well. Speaking of computers, L asked, "What did you decide to name the new computer?" Well, I had to join the network, so I'm like, my whole thing is that all my computers and phones and whatever are named after space objects, mostly moons of planets and whatnot. There have been some named after spacecraft, like I've got either Zarya or Harmony, depending on what Wi-Fi router or router system I have set up, are like the docking ports. Those are like the hubs of the International Space Station. But I've also got, the old computer was Enceladus. Previous to that, the computer we started playing Farlands Bust on was Ganymede. And now this one, I've just gone full on pop culture and popular, you try to find obscure things. But no, this one I went with Europa. Named it Europa. It makes sense because it's water-cooled. It's my first water-cooled PC, and Europa has an entire sphere, a planetoid full of water, more water than Earth even, underneath its crisp and cold, icy crust. I don't know why it's crisp. It's crisp, like a refreshing Coca-Cola. No, so yeah, that makes sense. So I just went with that. Europa and Enceladus, kind of easy to confuse the two, but that's the computer name I went with. I was trying to think of something a little bit more, like I said, obscure or different, but I'm like, I need to join the network so I can start sharing stuff. So here, let's name this thing. Of course, I might be totally starting over and reinstalling Windows all over again because fun times. But we'll have to deal with that. Thanks a lot, Wolfie. We'll have to deal with that when we have to deal with that. Hopefully, next week. We'll deal with it next week. But yeah, that's what the name of the computer is now. Daniel from Texas, asks, "What was your first computer? Please detail the specs, such as memory and the CPU. Do you remember the first IBM PCs?" Did I answer this question before? This sounds... I feel like I made fun of the fact that Daniel wanted me to detail the specs and the memory and the CPU. If I did, sorry, I'm going to kind of answer it again. The first family computer we had was an Apple IIc Plus, which was interesting. I don't know, obviously this was pre-internet or anything, but it had the floppy, the big, what was it, 4.5, 5.5 inch floppy separate drive, but then the keyboard was built into the computer, the kind of the CPU base, I guess, and it had on the side a smaller 3.5 inch floppy disk drive, and it had a color monitor. It wasn't one of those Apple IIs with the green monitors. This was an Apple IIc Plus. Color monitors. Color monitors were a thing. It had that. I was able to play Rampage on it, and Lemonade Stand, and Carmen Sandiego. But not much beyond that, I suppose. Typed up homework. We had a dot matrix printer. That's my dot matrix computer. Printer impression, in case you needed to have that for reference. But yeah, that was the first family computer, and then after that we got like a Dell Pentium 2 like well after that, like well into the late 90s is when we finally upgraded that computer from the mid 80s. So we were late adopters. My parents were late adopters. I'll put that on. So yeah, we got a Dell computer, which is, like I said, probably like a Pentium 2 processor, if that even, to be honest with you. And Windows 98. Yeah, it was late 90s. Windows 98, Flight Simulator 98. That computer, I think I eventually did put like a graphics card in there, whatever the graphics card, a Voodoo card or something, at the time. So I was able to play like Mech Warrior 2 on it. And even I think I probably played Rainbow Six and the first StarCraft on that computer. But yeah, that was like the next one, and then that's when we first got the internet, was using that computer with the dial-up modem. But then my actual first computer was when I was in my 3rd year of college. Or was it the 4th year of college? I think it was the 3rd year of college that I finally got my own personal PC for Kirche Mac. It's getting kind of dark out. Let's make an elevated hidey hole, why don't we? It's all a spoiler in the distance. Oops. There we go. And a bed, and a torch, and asleep. And a dot matrix printer-ness. Oh. So yeah, that was when we had the dial-up modem, and I would remember calling friends, phone numbers on it, to play StarCraft together, or Rainbow Six, or something, multiplayer. So those were good times. But yeah, then when I was at my 3rd year of college, I got a Dell computer that I actually had until like a couple years ago, and I'm like, I'm never going to use this again. It was a Windows XP computer. But yeah, I upgraded it to its maximum. The problem with the Dell computers, and I'm not sure if it's still a problem, is they had some sort of proprietary power supply. I wanted to upgrade the power supply to get a better graphics card, but they had some sort of proprietary power supply where the pins, the motherboard pins, were arranged differently, so if you tried to buy and then plug in an off-the-shelf OEM power supply, it would fry the board. Fun times. So that was the extent that could be upgraded. But yeah, I don't even remember. That was probably a Pentium 4, I'm assuming, probably. Maybe it had 512 megabytes of RAM was probably the max they could have, or maybe 1 gigabyte was the max. I probably upgraded that of RAM, and hard drives. It had hard drives. It had a zip drive, a zip 250 drive, because in graphic design and graphic arts classes, that's what we used, because those files were huge. You had to have at least 250 megabytes of space to write stuff to. Oh man. So yeah, had that. So yeah, that right there was my first actual computer. That was Kurt's computer. And then after that, it was building my own computers. After that came Ganymede was the next one, which I slowly upgraded throughout time. Ganymede, and then Enceladus. Was it? No, wait. There was another one in there somewhere, or maybe it was. I kind of feel it's hard to remember because that original Dell I did crack open and change and update like all the memory, like as much as I possibly could. The graphics card to the point of, you know, maxing out the power supply, I think. So it's kind of hard to remember what was the first computer I actually built. I'm pretty sure it was Ganymede. Yeah. All right. Which now it was originally living in this case, but I've transferred it to another case, and it is kind of languishing in a box right now, unused. Look at this! Look at this place! Gosh, I wish I didn't have the fog distance on. Let's get a little bit of a clearer picture and watch as the game crashes. Neat. Actually, it looks a little bit more dramatic with the fog. We're creating drama and intrigue and pronouncing drama wrong here in Farlands or Bust. You'll note how the top of that mountain is flashing. That is because the clouds are an entity, and they are not bound to the floating point precision error, but the terrain is. So it's jittering like we're jittering, which is kind of an interesting problem to have. But neat. Kind of like this run up to this interesting area up here. Got a nice room. So yeah, that was, I guess, a little bit of a rundown of the computers of Kurt J. Mac. Let's see. I think those are all the computer-themed questions. Let's just start from the top here. Dave asks, have you been following the competition of new cargo spaceship for the ISS? Do you have a preference? SpaceX, Dream Chaser, etc.? You may be asking not about cargo, specifically if you're including Dream Chaser, but you're talking about crew. Wolfie. Crewed space flights. I'm obviously following it. I haven't been keeping up too specifically with the others. I mean, I know Orion, which is NASA / Boeing's and Lockheed's or whatever attempt, making the Orion capsule. I keep seeing stuff about, oh, they have the first pressurized vessel that they're testing out, which is like flight ready, even though the thing has never flown before. So they're very optimistic in their marketing of that, but I'm quite pessimistic about it. I mean, really, all I can see is that SpaceX is the only one with a viable capsule that can be crewed before the end of the decade to deliver astronauts to the International Space Station. I mean, when you look at it, it's already a capsule that's been to the space station. I think they said, or at least Elon Musk has said, oh, if anybody had ridden in any of those Dragon capsules that made it to the space station, that they would have had a pleasant journey. Obviously, they would need seats, but so yeah, they're coming out with the version 2 of the Dragon capsule, which is going to be the crewed version of the capsule. So that's the one I'd put I'd bet my pants on. The Dream Chaser has been on and off and canceled and uncanceled now and again. That's interesting. I mean, it'd be nice to have a fixed wing kind of glider, reusable space shuttle-esque craft. Again, that thing hasn't flown before, and I think its first test drop didn't end too well, if I remember correctly. Glide test. So there's, you know, I think it's a good thing, all of this commercial competition. But right now, SpaceX is the only one, like, that has to seem anything to show for it. So, yeah, I mean, there's that. And then there's the actual, I think it is the Boeing has their Starliner or whatever, which is just seems like a rebranded Orion capsule that we've not seen anything from either. So, yeah, I've been keeping my eye on it. It's always interesting. I'm interested in keeping tabs, like I said, on whenever they're planning the first crewed Dragon capsule launch, and kind of more interested in the Falcon Heavy, which should be quite the sight to see. So I keep checking the NASA social website every other week or so, just to see if anything new has popped up to sign up for to see a launch. But it's been quite a while for me. So Wolfie knows. So yeah, I've been keeping my eye on it. Koloth, with their donation, asks, who would you like to thank for inspiring you? No pressure. I don't know. And I've had similar questions in the past about, like, who's your hero or your inspiration, or who do you model whatever after, and or who is your what's the word I'm looking for? Not the opposite of a protege. Who's the person who jays the protege? The mentor. Who's your mentor or something like that? I really didn't ever have one. I mean, I'm not trying to sound like depressed or like I was lacking in anything, but I really never had any sort of either real life someone to kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like I said, a guide. I didn't have a Yoda or anybody teaching me the Force, but then I didn't really ever have, like, heroes or anything. I mean, there are people who've done amazing or interesting or brave things. I'd be like, oh, that's, you know, that person's all right in my books, but I don't like base my life after them. I don't say that they inspire me to do much specific. I mean, you know, there's your Neil Armstrongs, there's your Neil Armstrongs. Yeah, I can't even like think of any. There's your Carl Sagans. There's your other people with names that have first and last components. But yeah, I can't. I don't. And maybe that's a problem. Maybe that's explains a lot. I don't know. But yeah, I don't have like a specific anything really that has guided. As I have no guiding light. I'm just aimlessly wandering in the dark with my arms outstretched, hoping not to bump into anybody, is really the way I go about life, I guess. Put that on a t-shirt. Oh, man. But thanks for your donation, anyway. Oh, man. We can game if we want to. Asks, have you ever grown your mustache long enough that you accidentally bit down on it while eating something? I have, and it hurts. No. Not really. I tend to keep it out of my mouth, thank you. That's what she said. This is a children's show, Kurt. What the heck? Yeah, no. I mean, I've trimmed back on the hair follicles quite a significant amount since the first time you saw them in that Kurt Indeed vlog. They're a little bit wily and out of control. So I've since gone a little bit more conservative with the facial hair, I guess. A little bit more appropriate here in the desert heat of Phoenix. But oh, did my shears? Oh no, they didn't. I was gonna say, did my shears break? Oh, that sheep was pink for 2 seconds. Now he's gonna be really pink. I'm gonna take his wool. Bloop. Or more of a beige, a skin tone. Let's make it over to this island and make the elevated hidey hole over here. Careful, Wolfie! Oh, man. Bing bong. Oh, that's actually all you really need. Oh, hi. You're gonna have to get down. Thank you. And, oh, yeah, stuff's already spawning. Let's go to sleep and continue in the morning. And a creep around the peninsula-ness. Creep around the peninsula-ness indeed. We do need more pigs, don't we? More pigs. Inspiring. Buddy. Hey, buddy. Buddy donated and asked a question. What? Wait, what? What is your favorite out of all your favorites? Speaking of questions I can't answer, I think Buddy is making a joke at the fact that I have a problem coming up with what's your favorite pizza topping, or what's your favorite sandwich, or what's your favorite shoe to put on first, or, you know, so yeah, I don't, my favorite is my favorite, to tell you about my favorites, and give it a favorite on Twitter, or a like, or are they favorites? They used to be favorites, now they're likes, they're hearts. Something. Yeah. Woof. I mean, squeal. Pig. Whatever the noise the pig made. Alright, your tail is a little bit horizontal there, so let's remedy that. There we go. Larson. Another space question here. Since you seem to enjoy both space and exploration, have you ever found yourself similarly fascinated with the oceans? Similarly, have you ever considered playing Subnautica? I've heard of Subnautica, but I don't know what it's about. Are you similarly fascinated with the oceans? Not similarly, really. I know there's a lot of comparisons and or criticisms that say, why are we spending so much money to explore Mars when we don't know what's on the bottom of the ocean? 95% of the ocean. I don't think that's entirely true. I mean, there's a lot we don't know, but I'm pretty sure we've mapped the entirety of the surface, or I'm sorry, the floor of the ocean, and we know what's topographically there. Similarly, we've mapped the entire surface of Mars. Doesn't mean we've been there and seen what's in every crater or whatever, so I think the same applies to oceans. I don't know, I'm not, I guess because oceans aren't really something you can visit. Like, the ocean itself is the water to me. Thinking about the ocean floor is, as a place to go is kind of a separate deal. There is, I mean, NASA does have a program. What is it called? WOOF. No, it's not called WOOF. It's, there's a program. A lot of astronauts, before they become astronauts, spend time at this underwater, it's kind of like Sea Lab. That might be what it's called. Ocean Lab? Lab? Something. Yeah, it's a small, little submersible laboratory. Not anywhere is a thing. It's like one module of the International Space Station, I guess, is about the size. It's not too deep. Like, light still gets down there. I'm not sure where specifically it is, off the Caribbean somewhere maybe, or not. I have no idea. But yeah, like they'll spend some long duration trips on the bottom of the ocean floor at that. What is that thing called? I'm like subscribed to the Twitter feed for the program. But yeah, that's NASA doing that. Like I said, a lot of astronauts end up, you know, kind of practicing down there. And then they'll end up being actually going to space, astronauts. But I'm not, yeah, I mean, the ocean is a little bit terrifying. Overall, just as a personal thing, being on a boat, you know, away from land, kind of being dwarfed by the sheer depth and amount of water and darkness beneath you. A little bit spooky. Also the fact that we know for a fact that there are very large living things in the ocean, as opposed to, oh, going to Mars. I know I'm not going to get bitten by a shark in Mars, but in the ocean, there's a slightly higher chance of that, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not as fascinated. I mean, I think whales are cool, and marine mammals, kind of the whole evolution that they took, starting like the rest of us as waterborne organisms, and then evolving and leaving the waters and evolving into mammals along that branch, and then suddenly, well, not suddenly, but over the course of millions and hundreds of millions of years, deciding, I'm gonna start to slowly go back in the water until I live there all the time. So these are weird, crazy branches of evolution that came out of the water, evolved, then decided, I'm gonna go back into the water, and my feet, which once were fins, are gonna turn back into fins, and then my nose is gonna go to the top of my head, and it's crazy, weird, wild, wacky stuff that happens there. Earth. Good job, nature. So yeah, I mean, that stuff sort of interests me, but as like an exploratory deal, I'm not as into that as I guess I am of space, I suppose. Well, that was a different question. I don't know that I've ever gotten that one before, but I do appreciate it. Crumbelina asks, what is your favorite pastime? What is your favorite pastime? What is your favorite, like, you mean like baseball or something? Ken Burns presents Kurt J. Max's favorite pastime. I don't know that I have a favorite pastime. I just record video games all day now. Pastime. Like, what constitutes a pastime? Maybe you can tell me in the comments. Like a personal pastime or a national pastime? Are you talking about like a family tradition? Because that would be a tradition and not necessarily a pastime. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure how to answer that. Also, favorite. You're asking for a favorite. Mr. Buddy just, Mr. or Ms. Buddy, I don't know what you were, but asked about my favorites of the favorites, and now you're asking about my favorite pastime. Yeah, I got a hard time. Even if I knew what you meant by pastime, difficult to come up with it. We got the uprights over there. Let's try to kick a field goal. Oh, if I had some snow, I could actually, but I do not. That's a shame. Do I have anything to throw? I have nothing to throw. All right. Let's throw a chicken. Oh, an egg. Oh, I don't think they lay eggs. No, they don't lay eggs. Never mind. They don't lay eggs in Minecraft Beta 173. Never mind. An egg is actually a little bit shaped like a football. But the second part of that question that I actually might be able to answer, if I can find it. Who was your first favorite band to influence you? Probably Nirvana. I'm gonna go with Nirvana. And again, same thing of the themes here. Think about like inspired you or whatever, or influence you. I have a hard time drawing those connections, I guess, between simple things that I just like or enjoy versus things that inspire or change or influence who I am. But probably Nirvana. I mean, from there I kind of solidified into the rock genre and ended up finding, you know, like your Radioheads and Gorillaz with a Z, and you know, the whole if you follow me on Twitter, you know I end up liking a bunch of YouTube videos and whatnot of all the music I like. So it probably all started with Nirvana, probably. I think. I don't know. I really can't think back that far. My brain is old and weary. I cannot force it. Careful, Wolfie, to recollect such intricacies. Gosh darn it. You're alright. But yeah, thanks for the donation and the question. Oh, I think you know what? I think I've forgotten to delete some of these questions. Possibly when I switch computers, because this is Josiah from London asking about the types of teas. What kind of sweets do you enjoy? Oh, no. Okay, well, okay, this is actually this is a follow-up to the tea question. Same guy, different question. Josiah from London. To further our discussion on the finer things in life, such as teas, I'm interested in what kind of sweets you enjoy. I'm partial to a few pieces of solid gahwanda. A smooth praline like chocolate. So you all know what I'm talking about, right? Gahwanda. Ha. There's a J-A at the end, so I'm assuming it goes like jalapeno. I don't know what that is. Sweets. I don't have that many sweets anymore. I've kind of cut out all sweets. I stopped maybe 6, 7, 8-ish years ago drinking sodas. The last real sweets I had were probably the leftovers from Halloween last October. And you know, the Almond Joys, well, there's definitely a spawner under here. Oh god, there's the spawner under there. Ooh. Is that a spawner under there? No, I think it's just some random zombies. Ah, random zombies. Oh, that actually might be a spawner. Have a seat, Wolfie. I don't know that we have time to investigate. Oh, didn't even get to kill him. That's a shame. You know what? No, I don't think it's a spawner. Yeah, I think it was just some screwballs screwing around down here. Yep. All right. Nuts to you guys. You've not nothing to give nor offer me. So yeah, I mean, what was it called? Reese's Cups. I always enjoyed, but I just like the last few times I've had snacks like that, sweets and whatnot. I end up like regretting it later because I get like a stomach ache. I don't eat that many. It's just I don't know, the sugar or the chocolate or peanut butter nougat goodness. Well, actually, I take that back. On the way back from San Antonio, there were no gluten-free options in the San Antonio airport, so I just bought some Fritos, and I bought a Three Musketeer, because it's been forever since I had a Three Musketeer, which is gluten-free. It's pretty much just a chocolate with whipped chocolate bar, if you don't know what a Three Musketeer is. But yeah, even after that, I'm like, I regret getting this. It tasted good, but I regret it. So, yeah. But yeah, I kind of have been avoiding sweets. You know what's really good? Dates and going on dates. No, dates, like is that a fruit? Is that a nut? Is that some sort of tree family situation? A date, wrapped in bacon and baked and or fried. A bacon wrapped date, you can call it. Those, dates are kind of sweet, but then you got the bacon. Those are good times to be had indeed right there. So I recommend that. Either make them or find a place. Usually like Spanish tapas places make them. Perhaps that's also where you can get your... Ooh, this is a reinforced ideal here. That's where you get your... what did you call it? Gianduja. From a tapas place, maybe. I don't know. Where did I get these feathers? Oh, the zombies. All right. Let's do that. Let's make some beds. Woof, Wolfie agrees. And end off this episode of Far Lands or Bust. The floating point thing. Well, that had actually nothing to do with the floating point thing. It's the other direction. Oh, well. I'm just weird. Let's end off this episode of Far Lands or Bust, episode 559. How about that? How about it? Tell me, how about it? We do have still some couple handfuls of questions here to get through from donors, but we'll soon be running out. So head on over to farlandsorbust.com, donate to Child's Play charity, help get toys, books, games to kids in hospitals around the world, and also include a question. Preferably not about my favorite anything, because that's a difficult one to answer, but a good one. Well, they're all good. I'm not like poo-pooing anybody's question, but an interesting one was about, you like space exploration? What about the oceans? That got me talking for a little bit. So, but anything really. I mean, heck, I answered the question about my favorite out of all my favorites. So they all work, and they all get us closer to our $60,000 goal for Child's Play charity. In here, season 6 of Far Lands or Bust. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time.